Yeah, I think it's kind of harking again back to another dark period of my life. And it wasn't that long ago, it was a couple of years ago. And I was, yeah, I mean, I won't go into too many details because I was previously engaged and it wasn't going well. The relationship wasn't going well. And the wedding was coming up, and I felt so much pressure of, do I stay or do I go? And there was going to be, I had to convert religions to be with him, which I didn't do. Um, but it was a very, very kind of loaded situation. And there was a lot of things that weren't going right, a lot of things not going right. I mean, infidelity was involved, and it was really hard. And I didn't know what to do. And I felt so scared and so trapped. And it was COVID, and I was all alone. I didn't have family around, and kind of time was ticking. And I remember it came down to surrendering again. It honestly, like, the irony is that's when I really began to pray. That's when I seriously began to pray. And every day I was just praying without fail and surrendering, and like literally like on my knees, just kind of asking for a sign. And that sign came, and then I ended up walking away. And then things still got harder. Like my apartment flooded horribly, and there was like 40K of damages. And then Ukraine war started. My dad lives in Ukraine. So a lot of kind of horrible things happened kind of month after month. I mean, this kind of happened all over 6 months. And I felt like I couldn't catch a break. And I just remember I remember a friend in Vancouver saying to me, she's like, Kat, I'm worried about your mental health. I feel like you need to do some yoga. And I was just like, you don't understand. Like, yoga is not going to save me here, right? Like, yoga and just taking a break when my dad's in a war zone, like, this isn't going to help. Um, but surrendering did. And the more that I could I never really understood what surrendering even meant until I kind of fully just let go of all of that control and just leaned in. And yeah, I kind of went, a lot of the things that I ended up doing felt against the grain of what felt comfortable, but they were kind of, it was flowing. It was like unfolding in front of me. And I had to kind of take my ego and put it out the way and just lean into whatever was unfolding in front of me. And it was hard. Like, it was hard for a good, like, almost a year. But then when I got to that real kind of like, I'm just going to keep surrendering, I'm just going to keep surrendering, I'm going to keep surrendering. That's when I met my now husband at a dance floor at a music festival. And everything shifted because suddenly I was like, okay, I'm going to keep surrendering to this because this is completely bananas. He lives in Canada. I live in London now. How are we going to make this work? It's long distance, but I'm going to keep surrendering to it. And then slowly kind of things unfolded. And that's when I began to see the light. That's when I was like, oh, I get it. I get it. Like, that's why all of these different things happened and all of this stuff had to happen. And it was hard and it was horrible. But here are the lessons that I had to learn. And here are the kind of trials and tribulations that I had to go through and the growth that I've gone through. And now I can see a path ahead. And now I feel like I'm not kind of back in control, but I can see the train that I'm on. And it's okay. Like, I like this train. And now I'm surrendering to that train, if that makes sense. And so it's almost like, I think when I was first learning about the concept of surrender and reading Michael Singer's book and The Untethered Soul and all of this stuff, in my head, surrendering was like a, quick thing that you just do and it all unfolds and suddenly everything's dandy and brilliant and happy and, you relax. For me, surrendering took like nearly a freaking year and it wasn't that fun, but I felt very clearly, I was like, oh, this is surrendering. Yeah, like I'm horribly out of control here and I don't know where I'm going and I don't know if I like it, but I'm doing it. And it just, yeah, it really changed my life. But it all started with that kind of prayer and like throwing my hands up in the air and being like, I actually don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. Just tell me what to do.